Hey music fans, as a roadie I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star.
I mean, there's things that like I kind of got in a fight with Scott Weiland. I got in a fight with George Carlin, and both like.
I gotta know about Scott Weiland first, and then maybe I'll ask you the Scott Weiland story too. Is it a good one?
It's more sad than anything.
Just came in between takes with my friend Spencer Fischer. Spencer's a longtime DJ. He's 30 years deep, I believe. He started at KROQ here in Los Angeles. Worked a lot in Santa Barbara. I've known him a while. He's a really good dude. Anyway, in between takes, he told me some Scott Weiland stories. I used to work for STP. I'm an STP fan, of course. And so I thought I'd share them with you guys. I did not remember the Santa Barbara Bowl story with Scott being in the park. And I actually reached out to the manager of the band at the time too, and he didn't remember that either. So I'm not saying it's not true, but I am just being upfront with you guys with I don't remember that happening. But it's what Spencer remembers, and there's a lot of stuff with Scott Weiland that I'm not sure. Anyway, I thought it was worth airing because that gives you more insight into a true rock and roll legend, I guess the best way to put it. So anyway, the radio stuff, I bet. Guys, thanks a lot. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.
I'll just tell you, basically, we had Scott scheduled for a week, and every day he didn't show up. And then on the final day of the, after the label's been, and we've been every day, tomorrow morning, Scott Weiland on the show. Tomorrow morning, we swear tomorrow, Scott Weiland on the show. Tomorrow morning, Scott Weiland. And we did this for like a week. And only Chris Carrabba, Dashboard, gave us that kind of runaround. Like, don't just say no, but don't make us promote it every day and make us look like chumps. And then, and so basically at 9:55, we've already said goodbye. At 9:48, Scott calls with 5 minutes, and we're already gone for the weekend. Like, I'm like, everybody sit back down. Scott called. And I basically he gets on the line. I'm like, Scott, you're finally joining us. I go, Scott, I've been meaning to ask you for a while. What do you think it is about you that makes you so arrestable? Because at that point, I came out swinging because it was like, and all three of these moments, largely out of character for everything that I've ever done in my radio career. But yeah, it was just that he flaked on us for a week. And then when he got on, he was barely cognizant. And then, about a year later, we didn't have him anymore. What
was his answer? He didn't?
He said, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, but Scott, there has to be something. I show up here every morning, and there's a lot of mornings that I've showed up, and there's been one story coming from your world. I go, do you know what it is? And really the answer is alcohol and drugs. That was it.
And there's more to some of these stories that I've been told.
Well, I actually, I don't know if you're with them when they played the Santa Barbara Bowl.
Sure.
Okay. I'm the guy bringing them on, and STP's got
in 2001.
Yeah. STP's got no hot intros, right? So you say, get ready for Stone Temple Pilots, not here is Stone Temple Pilots. Oh. So that's this, they don't want you so close to their professional energy, right? Some people do, some people don't. Hot intro, no hot intro. They say no hot intro, passive intro, cold intro. I go, okay, fine. So I'm sitting on the side of the stage, and they're like, Stone Temple Pilots is finishing up the Laker game. They'll be out when it's done. They're just big Lakers fans. And I go,
Scott was gnarly, but yeah.
So I would find out later, which was an acceptable answer. That's the most rock star move. Is everybody out there here for you? Make them wait till your game's over. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, this side, yeah.
But it wasn't. That was their standard issue. And Scott was in the park in Santa Barbara scoring crack. And later, the cab driver that drove him all the way up to the stage because Scott came in. He's like, yo, I'm the singer for the band. Let me in. And he went all the way up to the stage. He was exhaling crack up until the moment he stepped out of the car. And that was why we were late. And that was why I was standing on stage. Not that he wasted my time. It was a privilege and an honor to do this. But yeah, I had Productions story, which I don't know, now that I think about it, he looked a little familiar. No, I'm just kidding. And then I had, I got the Santa Barbara story later from the person that was like, I was his cab driver, man. So.
Wow. You sure that was 2001 though?
It was the number 4 tour.
Fuck, that's the show then. Wow.
Yeah. He was literally, I mean, from your end, it would have been Scott's MIA. Do what you got to do to stall. So,
yeah, it's the Lakers game. Treadmill. He was really into his treadmill, so he'd have to get ready for the show by running. So that was a good one.
That's a great. Just so you know, that is a great way to work out those pre-show feelings. Like I completely sign up for that. That's great.
Yeah, but he really did watch the Laker games sometimes, by the way. That's true, though. That's really actually true. And he was really into the treadmill as well.
Yeah.
But they were good little things. And it wasn't just Scott, actually. I'd have issues with Dean, the guitar player, man.
Dean or Robert, who's bass?
Robert is the bass player.
Okay. Playing the tracks, he goes, oh my God, I've been playing my own song wrong for years. And then that was like the thing. And then they get down to the vocals because vocals is last. You would know this more than
Robert. Robert said that?
Yeah, they got down to,
I've heard that. Okay.
So then vocals is last. Apparently Scott would kick everybody out. He would cut the vocals and then everybody could come back in. And so it was just his space. And so
Billy Idol does that too.
A lot of people do it as I hear these stories. So he comes back and they're playing everything. And it's like with a little reverb. And you hear it. It's all in the track. And I feel the times where you going for. And like all the coughs are in there. But you then hear him getting set up. And then you hear, where the dogs. And everybody's in tears in the studio. And they're like, we've never heard this side of Scott in our whole life. We're hearing this for the very first time, and we were never allowed to be part of it.
Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.